Good afternoon, everyone. So my topic this afternoon is about the church in a digital world. I would like to quote a verse on Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. So in this verse, guys, we can see that God is asking us, do you not perceive it? Perceive means become aware or conscious of something. When God is doing a new thing, He is asking us, did you not perceive it? Did you not see it coming when I am doing a new thing? But actually, it's like confusing, no? Kay bago nga butang and then pangutanon ka nga, wala ni mo nakita. Saan pa nakita? Bago man. But no, actually, God is asking us this question. There is Isaiah chapter 43 because He knows that we are capable of seeing new things nga ginabuhat sa Ginoo, and actually we should and ought to see what God is doing or what the new thing that He's doing, especially when God is changing, when He's shifting generations, when He is shifting age. So in this topic, I'll just give you first three major shifts in the history so that we will know how God is shifting things, how God is changing things. The first is, in history, there's what we call agricultural age. And in this agricultural age, guys, the most educated person in the room was the pastor, the priest. You went to the school in the same building as you went to church. Mo nang kung tanaw ninyo ang mga schools karon, San Beda, Santo Tomas, it's from the saints. Kaysa una, guys, ang church o ang school were one. So kung dili ka connected ana, dili ka wala kay access sa education. That is from the agricultural age when people plant, uh, ingana pa ang main nga thing. And then you can see nga it is shifting into industrial age. Diri na, guys, na invento ang mga machineries, and ani nga age, this is known not by, in this age mailhan kan not by what, by who you are, but by what you do. What I mean by that is, pananglitan, someone will ask you, kinsa man ni si Kan? Si Kan, dili na siya pangutanon kung kinsa na siya. Pangutanon na siya, unsa iyang trabaho, unsa iyang gibuhat. So, ana nga, in this age, guys, nga, you'll be defined by what you do. What's your job? O how well ay mo ang sweldo, and wealth, status, educational system emerged to train people how to work the assembly line. Diri nagasugod ang mga kanang factories, diri nagasugod ng mga, actually diri na invento, guys, ang kanang sa school system na maglingkod mo in a rows. Diri siya gasugod. Kaysa una sa agricultural age, actually if a doctor will mentor you, he will just mentor you directly. Ingana ang style sa una sa pag-educate. And then there's a shift that's happening, and then mo to na mass na educational na system. And yeah, mo to siya nitabo, the value of this age is quantity, performance, and production. Kung dili ka productive, you're not valuable. Basically nga na ang point ana nga industrial age. And actually in this, even today, this kind of mentality is still in the present time, and mo na siya ang struggle sometimes. Actually sa industrial age, diri ang grabe nga ang kung imong work kay engineering, grabe kayo ang imong job, but ning shift siya into information age. Mo na karon grabe kayo ang IT nga world, grabe kayo ang tech nga world. Sa information age, most educated is whoever can pull out their phones first. The rules of the game have dramatically changed in this age. In an information age, we are experiencing a collision of identity, information, truth, and privacy. Pag-shift guys sa information age, suddenly information, the learning is available in your fingertips. And because of this, na ay ups and downs. The first is identity, information, how to filter the fake news sa truth, and even sa privacy. And sometimes, gikuha sa tuwa ng privacy, but most of the time, kita mismo ang gahatag sa ilaha sa ato ang information. So basically, kita ra gyapon ang give sa atong mga information. For example, unsa imong gikaon today, kinsa imong kauban today, aha kam ni adto, aha kaga travel, kay gina-post nimo, the privacy is gone. Actually, mong friends pagani kabalo, pagani mas nakabalo pa na sila sa imong ginabuhat kaysa sa imong ginikanan. Every information is available to everyone. Not because gikuha nila, but we freely give it. Yeah. Actually guys, sa Facebook or sa any platforms, kanang musulod mo register mo din ay small na button dira na I agree. Then taas ka na nakasturya diha nga wala ninyo gibasa. That is the consent of you giving your information away. And yan, reklamo din tanga, nakabalo man sila sa ako informations and everything. Actually, kita mismo ang gahatagan na. So why am I saying this guys? Sa information age, ingani na grabe ang information nga pag-infiltrate sa ato ang life. I'll just give you an update guys. Sa January na 20, sa this 2020 nga update on how big technology has changed our lives. This is January and we're on the end of the last quarter of 2020. Our total population is 7.75 billion. Imagine 7.75. And sa 7.75, 5.19 billion ang naay phones already. Lapas ba siya half guys, no? Grabe, 5 billion, 7 billion itong population. Almost hapit na gid siya kay paspas kayang increase every year. And sa kaning 7.75 billion, 4.54 ani is internet user. 3.80 billion na social media. Lapas pa siya half guys sa ang naay social media. So ingani siya kakusog. And even in the Philippines, we are 108.8 million sa Philippines. And ang mobile phone connections, 173 million. Mas daghan pa ang phones kaysa sa tao. Imagine that. And these phones are used kayo ban syempre tagduha ang phone, ang uban tagtulo, ang uban wala panghatag pud mo. And internet user is 73 million. Guys, 100 million to population, 73 million ang naay access sa internet. Active social media users, 73 million. So almost sa Philippines, if your age range is 60 below, most likely you have social media, you have phone, you have access to internet. And this is the information age where everyone is already connected. And you know how much time we spend on the internet? In the Philippines alone, we spend 10 hours average a day on the internet. On our social media, we spend about 4 hours every day. Like, what? 4 hours every day nga. Murag dili man mo mabantayan. Actually, yes. From time to time, you're opening your Facebook, you're opening your social media accounts. Pag maboard ka, social media. Pag naka sa bagong lugar and you have no friends, social media diretso. 24 hours atong life, guys, and 10 hours mismo ana we're accessing to internet. 4 hours ana is on social media. This creates a global village. Because of our access to internet, 'di ba naatay 4.5 billion people who are connected to the internet. And this global village, guys, these are all the people who have access to internet. These people is accessing information the same as others. These people under the global village is listening to the same songs, watching the same movies, and because of that, these people inside the global village reacts the same way. They respond to situations the same way. Muna nga when people on the US and people in the Philippines or somewhere or even in Korea, we watch the same movies, we listen to the same songs, right? Kaya before wala may K-pop, wala tay access sa K-pop, wala tay access sa balita sa US, wala ta kabalon sa mga bills nga gipang gipang pasa dito sa ilahang Senate, wala ta kabalo. They say na it takes a village to raise a child. 'Di ba? You cannot raise a child on just the community sa inyong balay lang. It takes a village to raise up a child. And in this age, information age, this global village is raising up our our children, even us. Well, this is affecting the way we think, the way we decide. And that's why mas usahay affected kay ta nga unsay nahitabo dito sa US karon, especially that it's election sa ilaha. Affected pud kay ta kinsa ta nga side kang Biden, kang Trump, unsa ba, di ba? But actually wala man tay labot unta ana. Sa una, we don't have access to that. But now because we are living in a global village, makikita lang ka og kanang news dito sa Israel unsa nang hitabo ang mga fire sa California, makabalo na ta. Sa una dugay kayo sa agricultural age, for example, sa una nga naa kay paryente nga tagalain country or tagalain lugar nya suddenly na nahitabo sa iya nga di maayo and he will send you a letter, and then the moment moabot na ang letter nga gipadala sa imuha, naayo na siya sa iyang sakit kay inana kadugay. But now instant, you can call, you can even tungod sa internet maka-video call pa mo diretso instantly. I remember before nga grabe kayo kamahal ang manawag ka sa US, manawag ka sa kanang mga unsa tawag nga calls gani nga international, and then mahal kay kag bayaran. Karon libre. Kani mobile data napagi free data. Pwede ka maka-chat balag wala kay load. Nalang kay wifi, video call na diretso so you can see him face to face. This is what is happening sa global village, and there are risks and there are breakthroughs in this. And what is happening inside the global village is this. From content consumer, sa una guys, magtanaw ra tag TV. I remember the day nga the times nga elementary ka nga mo to kasi yung silingan mananaw mo dito og TV kay wala pa TV sa inyo ha. Dayon tanan mo mga silingan dito mo sa isa ka balay magtanaw ra sa salida. We are content consumers. Igtanaw lang ta og unsa to mga paghuman og klase sa una daggan mo uli ka diretso tanaw kag TV kay ang anime yung giapas. We're just watching things. But because of this global village, from content consumer, we became content creator. Now we create our own videos. Now we create our own timeline. on our own walls, on our own platforms, we can create content. And this is a breakthrough, and at the same time, there's pros and cons in this one. We can create content. Now, why am I saying this? Why am I talking about this? Margaret Mead, I'll share this with you. There's this one lady, her name is Margaret Mead. She's an American cultural anthropologist during around 1960s and 1970s. So medyo tigulang na gini siya, guys. 1960s, 1970s. And at that time, she said this: throughout history, most cultures have been disfigurative. Ano yung ginagawa sa una? Most cultures have been disfigurative where parents and grandparents help young to understand failure. For example, ma-fail ka, imuhang mga lola, ang imuhang parents mo, yun, mo explain pa sa imuha what failure is, this is life, and nanadjud na siya, and ana. A few times, it becomes co-figurative where change happens so fast that society depends on young to help understand the future. Tungod sa kapaspas sa change, guys, ang even ang mga parents have had a hard time to cope up. That's why even ani nga age, guys, nga anahitabo nga ang mga anak na ang ga-explain sa mga parents on how to navigate technology, how the world is moving, how everything, how all the updates is updating. Diri nga age, 'di ba? Makita nimo nga si mama kay anak, unsaan man ni pag-picture, unsaan man ni pag-send, unsaan magpag-send og email. It becomes co-figurative where they teach each other na unsa pagkuan, si mama gatudlo, ang parents gatudlo, ang anak gatudlo sa ila. But this is what she said. Listen to this. I anticipate that a time is coming in history where technology changes so fast that culture, for the first time in history, human history, will be prefigurative. Prefigurative, where the children will have to figure out for themselves what their values will be. What she said is this, and it's happening already, na ang mga new generation, because they don't have a concept tungod sa kapaspas sa technology, tungod sa kapaspas sa trends, nga even they themselves doesn't know what is happening and what their values. For example, sa una napatay kabalo pa ta unsay mga kuan gadako pa ta nga napatay mga values nga inani ang culture ingani. But as you can see, even in the US right now, they don't care about values, they don't care about mga what they care about is their rights. Even if you're their parents, they don't care. They just care about their rights. And this is what is happening. This is what she said on 1960s. Nga what will happen in the future. Right? You can see it clearly karon. The values are degrading. And as a church in a digital age, we should know that God has raised us for such a time as this. We are facing the single biggest communication shift in the last 500 years. Since the Gutenbergs Printing Press. Do you know the Gutenbergs Printing Press? The Gutenbergs Printing Press was the first printer. This is the first mass communication nga ning explode. Ano nga time? It's 500 years. Nga naay print nga pwede na nimo murag photocopy ang papel. This is the first time nga na-invent ni siya nga system. And tungod ani nga invention ning boom ang mass communication. And do you know what is the first printed material in history? That is the Bible. Gi-invent ni ang mass communication sa printing press because they want to mass produce the Bible. That is 500 years. And after that, wala na ilain nga technology or any inventions nga ni level ani nga kataas nga pag-multiply sa mass communication. Wala na parehas pa nga even though ning na-invent nila ang TV, na-invent nila ang radio or anything, walay parehas ka kataas og mass production nga level aning Gutenbergs printing press until na-invent ang social media. Dira pa ni equal ang level sa mass communication nga pag-multiply when the social media happened, when internet became available. And what was that shift? The tool was given to the people. Basically, nga na siya igsoon. Kaya sa TV, yes, there's mass production but only itong mga dato nga kaya nila mag-produce og shows, kaya nila mag-air og mga programs ang maka-mass produce. But this time, sa social media, the tool was given to the people. Everyone has access to this. Now, the church must evaluate how the gospel is communicated. We should rethink, kaya sometimes we're still stuck sa old system on how to evangelize. Yes, it works. And yes, we still do street evangelism, but now we can't do it kay pandemic. Yes, we still do gospel tracts, but we are no longer bounded by it. The church must evaluate how the gospel is communicated to an image-driven, distracted generation. Image-driven and distracted generation, if it's not appealing to their eyes, they won't bother on it. Distracted generation. Gamay ra nimong kuha sa ilang attention. They're no longer focused sa ilang ginabuhat. Easy as that. As Ravi said, how do we reach a generation that listens with its eyes and thinks with its feeling? How will you reach out? Nga minaw sila, pinaagi sa ilang nakita, and magunaw-na sila, pinaagi sa ilang emotion. Now, the challenge is this. We change or we die. We change, basically, that is the dilemma right now sa church and sa tanan ministry. If we don't change, if we don't adapt, we die. In Psalm 100, verse 5, it says, "For the Lord is good and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generation." What I love about this verse is the last part when it says, "His faithfulness continues through all generations." All generation means from the industrial age, agricultural age, information age, or what generation is right now. God's faithfulness continues. And that is why God is asking us, have we not perceived the new things that He is doing? Because if not, we will die. We will be irrelevant. So we should rethink how we should do discipleship. In discipleship, the message is the same, but the method is different. Yes, we can never change the message, the gospel, but we can change the method on how we present the gospel. Same message, different methods. So for example, right now, access is available to everyone. For example, this generation grew up accessing information almost immediately because of internet. Our disciples, if they have questions, they'll access to internet. That's why as we church, we should give them access to discipleship materials to answer their questions, because if not, they will go to the wrong places. That's why we see people na sige, search lang sa internet dun sa kuan what's the answer to this and to this. Tingala lang kalahin na din ilang gipang tuhuan. Why? We are not giving them access to the right answers. We are not giving them access to the truth. And that's why they're searching for it in their own places. So we should rethink how we give information, how we do discipleships. Yeah, it's good that we give them a once a week na lessons, but sometimes when this generation has questions in their mind, they want immediate answers. We're living in an instant generation. Instant. Everything we want it right now. For example, the food, we want it fast food, instant noodles, right? Faster internet. We want access. And we should rethink as a church in a digital age how we can provide that to uh, our disciples. In Deuteronomy chapter 11, 18 to 20, it says already there, fix these words of mine in your heart and mind. Tie them as symbols on your heads and bind them on your foreheads. Teach them to your children, talking about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. Basically, in Deuteronomy 11, it says that we will give them the that the word of God is available to them. We will feed them the word of God. It says here, when you sit at home, kaya ba na nimo buhaton every day? Sit at home, walk along the road with them every day. Lie down when they get up, kuya kanina matulog. Write them on the door frames of their houses and on your gates. We cannot do it now. You cannot do it. But what we have is technology. What we have is social media. What we have right now is access. And that is what we should do. Again, the same message but different methods. For example, we're not the first person who has been locked down and has a messenger. Nauna na si Paul guys. Si Paul sa una sa as he made the New Testament, he was on prison, lockdown. And he has a messenger and he has a letter. Actually, the New Testament is a compilation of letters. Most of it are from Paul, and most of them he wrote it while napriso siya. And he has a messenger. Na siya'y gisugo nga ipadali nga letter didto nga church ay nga ani nga city kani hatag ani nga city. Na siya'y messenger, and basically we have that right now. Faster. We have that right now. Instant. We have a messenger. Right? And yeah, different method lang siya pagkabuhat, but the message is the same. So what does this mean? We want answers available for them or they will search it in the wrong places. Millennials will be attracted to authentic communities and opportunities for spiritual growth. Always remember this. Millennials will be attracted to authentic communities and opportunities for spiritual growth, because this is what this generation is looking. And I'm almost done. And I would like to end it with a verse. It says, "Praise be to the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle." My fingers for battle. Actually, the word digital is fingertips. It comes from the word uh, the digital. Guys, ang root word niya is toes and fingertips. And this is what the verse is saying. God has trained our hands for war and our fingers for battle. And guys, as I spoke to different organizations and different conferences, I personally saw the need to adjust and adapt into digital. We're not forsaking the previous methods of evangelism and outreach, but really just maximizing them. We're not saying na our methods of evangelism is wrong. I'm just saying that we can do more. Technology and social media is penetrating and changing the traditional lives of the young people, or the correct young tribesmen. It has changed the way we see the world. One time I was invited sa Bataan, and it's a missionaries conference. They are Filipino missionaries all over the world. And on that event, I was the only speaker, and for 3 days, what they just want to learn is how did the technology change the world. Because even the missionaries on the mountains, they saw the changes sa behaviors when a young people access internet. They were studying how to live as how the tribes live. They will learn how uh, what are their traditions, what are their foods. I've met a lot of good missionaries and a lot of stories, but every time daw na young people makaadto og syudad or maka-access og internet, suddenly ang behavior ma-change, suddenly kanang dili na sila kasabot, dili na mao ilang gistudihan sa ilang missionary nga training. And that's why they invited me at that time, kasi kay ang mga tribesmen daw nausab gyud daw ang lifestyle. And actually it happened already a long time ago, and this is what we've been pushing for years already, na God is changing the situation. God has been shifting the season, that God is calling us to dive into digital. And it's so hard for us, kami man ang isa sa pioneers nga start to push ani. And then we see it suddenly nag-pandemic and everyone is obliged to do it. And now some of the church na shocked, some of us are prepared for it. Because of their access to internet, it allows them to connect to the global village that we're talking about. A village that is simply connected through the internet. This gives us an avenue to reach to them, to reach out to them. This is an avenue for us to connect with them. How? Let's champion social media and technology. Let's harness its full potential. I believe that the people are still scratching the surface of technology. The Christian should be the one leading it. And that is all. Thank you, and God bless everyone.